You can't force people to believe and to believe. You have to encourage them into it. You can't say, well, you have to do this and you have to do that.
You do see a lot of like ordinary Americans not capitulating. And I feel like that is super important.
For some marginalized groups, sometimes, you know, like just existing is like a form of activism in itself because society is oppressive, right? And we're seeing that happen with like attacks towards like the transgender community, for instance.
The make eye contact and small talk thing is so doable, and yet so many of us don't do it. And I know that fascism despises community. And the more plugged in you are to your local community, the more you talk with your neighbors, have Congress, daily Congress with your neighbors, the more you plug into that small daily minutia of what surrounds you, the more able you are to defy it when something is not right.
Think global, act local. I think there's a certain element of that, even in the political sense, which is one of the things that I'm interested in. That we need to, be working to elect people who are aware, even just aware of the danger of what we're talking about.
Book banning. That's information we have. The stupider we are, the more easily we are controlled.
There's this stuff I'm not talking about, and it's because I feel like I just don't know enough. For the context. So there's plenty of that book that went over my head, but I felt like I'm at a place where I'm okay with it because, again, it's all about that baby step of me picking up something and acknowledging, there's stuff that I'm gonna miss, but I'm trying. I'm gonna get something.
Since I am political, we couldn't possibly have a worse person to be president of the United States at this moment.
Is there a line that we've crossed that was like, yes, labor-saving devices and easier life and, quality of living, but then also like not thinking for yourself, like danger territory? I'm
afraid that thinking is going to become a skill that fewer and fewer people have.
That's where the critical thinking comes in. Whether it's reading a self-help book or listening to a live stream podcast is like, okay, does this make sense for me? Mm-hmm. And what's going to work best for me? And that's where, I don't expect, nor do I want anyone to necessarily believe what I'm saying as this is the answer. I need to do it. It's it's food for thought, chew on it for a while, and maybe it's total crap for you, and that's okay.
But you know what feels good is just to be heard. It's just to have someone listen and take it in and realize that, they thought your mulling over of things in your life was worth listening to.
So I just wonder if we won't make thinking into a hobby that only some people choose to engage in.
Or are allowed to.
Or are allowed to engage in, yes.
Which is why a lot of people left their old countries to come here and be settlers. So I don't understand why we can't make allowances for that. Like, we can't understand. Why are we repeating the same violence that was visited upon our ancestors? Like, what are we doing?
I have nothing against Antifa, but every time they show up, we're going to take a step backwards, I think, unless they literally go out there and kick some ass and not take care of some people. I just don't think I just see that as a negative, because I think too many people like me are too afraid of losing what we have in an attempt to make things better for other people.
And what you're saying is that concentrates capital. It stops people from getting on an engine of economic earning, and it concentrates capital on the people who own the software, people who run the programs, and makes,
who are
an inequality engine.
The loudest, meanest people are the ones who are insecure. And if you're insecure, you're spending all of your time and energy worrying about what others think of you instead of doing anything to change something that's important.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is by ourselves, we can't do it by ourselves.
You can't see all the things that you did not have to fight for because you were able to access.
Right. And that intersectionality, like as a white woman, yes, I have the certain things going against me because I'm a woman, but man, I have a lot of things going for me when I'm white.
I am so out of my comfort zone here, especially when I was working on a psych ward where I thought, who am I? I'm an English teacher. Who do I think I am? And then to come out at the end of it, 10 years later and have the degree and be a practicing analyst, to look back at it, I'm just thinking like, what was I thinking?
And it hurts men more than what they want to acknowledge or realize because of that fragile male ego. We can't say, yes, our ego is fragile. It takes a big person to acknowledge, like, I've been conditioned to feel this way and it's harming me.
I think those moments, I can get lost in those. I can do a real head trip, to myself with moments like that. And I do think it's a reframing. I think it's a deciding to look at something differently. Otherwise, I'm going to be eaten alive by this thing.
So I think it's really just a mindset of, are people in survival mode? Have they had time to kind of get into what is happening?
And one of the young men protesters said, we've been out here for days, and nobody's paying any attention. No one's listening to us. And you show up and all of a sudden the press is here and the TV is here and all the cameras are on you. And, and he was mad at her. And she was able to hear that. She was able to accept that sort of and say, he was right. He was right. She was right to be standing up and saying what she was saying. And he was right too. Like, why are you more important than us? Why isn't anybody listening to us?
Now we are on a precipitous downward slide. So I find this book to be like sort of terrifying in what it has predicted, which is coming true. And also to be extra useful now, because again, it gives us those practical action steps we can take.
I stood up to the Board of Ed and to the superintendent, and I spoke on behalf of all of these people.
And I mean, I also was very much shook by that line. I want to live in a community that cares and takes care of one another, which prompted me to get involved. And how I chose to do that was reach out to my neighborhood association and met some people who were very new, and they're young, they're just out of college, and they want to get involved, but they're not sure where to go or how to do that.
We're all looking for something to hold on to. We're looking for something to feel hopeful about, and coming up short, and how do you not give in to despair?
I have an answer. It's an answer. It's not the answer. It's the trust links, right? So maybe you've heard the phrase, the weak links are what gets you the job. So you have strong links with the people that you're very connected with every day. You see them, you trust them, interact with them often. And then you have weak links, which are like friends of friends. And that's how you get to a different community. So you have your strong community that's small or however big. And then you have the greater like connections that are 1 degree away. And access is a different community that you don't know. So the link, if you trust it, like if you can build a small bridge one at a time, that's what I'm trying to do in real life. And it's slow and hard, but like forging of new connections to trust a few more people, and then a few more people, and then a few more people, and then get acclimated and then get comfortable, I think is how I'm building resilience for myself, but so slow.
Yeah, I want to be the gaffer. I want to be the one holding the mic, the mic boom.
I think we just got approval. We need a weekly Panarvin Bar podcast.
Yeah, a lot of times.